You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver. What the hell is that? Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat on this episode of the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. The host and myself, we have just been exchanging pleasantries, and we are all in great moods this evening, so we are excited to see how things kind of flow tonight. As always, I am joined by your reigning, defending, undisputed, and now back on track two-time cruiserweight champion, Poot the Bard. Baby. How you doing, Poot?
Oh, I'm doing better, man. We had our little chit chats before we started and kind of got ourselves going. I'm feeling good. I'm with my buddies. You can't ask for more. And am the belt is back on the correct waist again. So that's what matters.
Oh, jeez.
Speaking of the belt, we have the former champion, our own resident madman, Alec Ransom. Ransom, how's this evening find you?
You can fuck yourself. And
that's about it.
The stupid Adam Cole wannabe ripoff can fuck himself. And don't talk to me about that stupid title belt until you can fit it around your waist.
I can't.
Jackass.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear you up in my fucking tower, you pleb. Go ahead.
No, are you sure that's not just your shitty ass podunk internet? You dumb
There's so many.
Shut up,
There's
you
so
idiot.
many F words. Oh my god.
This has got off the rails immediately.
Tom, I've got nothing inappropriate to say to you. You're a good fella, and I'm fairly certain that I can't outrun you, and you could also kick my ass at the same time, so I'm glad to have you here this evening. Beef and Poot, I hate you both, and you can die in a tire fire.
Wow.
Well, Tigerbomb Tom here. Gonna try to reel it back in for a moment.
Oh, yeah, by the way, parental discretion is advised, because I've rubbed myself in the salt, and I'm salty as all goddamn hell.
You can't do that out in public. You can't rub yourself out in public.
As Ransom has mentioned, and as you hear, we are joined by, again, the hottest free agent in the podcast business. We are, in fact, joined by Tigerbomb Tom Bodnar, our own.
Just a quick second. I'm going to stop you there. I'm cutting that off. He's no longer the hottest free agent. He's one of us. Get over it.
On my
Sorry,
side.
Tom. There's no turning back now. Unfortunately, you've been inducted.
Oh.
The brainwashing has begun. It's all over. It's all downhill for you. Your reputation is tarnished. You're one of us.
Well, hey, I'll gladly take that tarnished reputation. Tigerbomb Tom here, a.k.a. Casual Gaming Dad, one of the two sponsors. So no, it is not nepotism, as as Ransom had alluded to.
Isn't that nepotism?
No, it's not.
No, that's not nepotism. That's some kind of prostitution. I'm not sure.
Isn't that like insider trading or something? Prostitution.
No, it's just like Cody
the ultimate
and
insider trading prostitution.
Yeah, because you guys know we make all this money off our podcast. We're gonna be hiring interns soon, I hear.
Would you please shut up? I've already got people telling me to get hired on the thing. Now that you said that, I'm going to get another message from Dinklehopper. Hey, where do you guys record at? Hey, can we be No!
Coming
I don't know you, and I don't want you here.
Studios, Casual Gaming Dad, one of two sponsors for the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast.
Good
Guys,
God.
I gotta say, honestly, like, it's always a thrill to listen. I've gone back and listened to some of the episodes. I'm probably one of the three people doing that. Like,
well, it's you, me, and Beef. So congratulations.
No,
I edit the son of a bitch. I don't need to listen to it.
There you
I
go.
haven't gone back and listened to an episode since episode 2, so it's not me. But
well, it's definitely me then. I'll tell you. But
it's the one kid that wants to be the intern. Then.
That too. No, but glad to be here, guys.
He wants to be ring bell boy.
Yeah, stop listening. By the way, I don't even want you listening. Stop listening.
Oh my.
Disclaimer.
Back on the rails here.
Disclaimer. Alec Ransom's opinions do not reflect that of. You know what? Yes, they do. Fuck them.
Yeah. I love it. But hey, NXT Takeover, man. Wow.
Oh my god.
I gotta say, and I'm not gonna pull the whole Dolph Ziggler. It should have been me, but I will say, had I not picked Gargano for the clean win, for the quote-unquote clean pin in the ring, I'd be a co-champion with Mr. Poot the Bard.
Actually,
yeah.
that would turn you into tag team champions.
I ruminated on this. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
no. He
Ruminating.
would have lost anyway. We would have tied. Yeah, we would have been, dude, co-champions. We would have been like, what was it? Who was co-champ? Wasn't it Jericho and China? Didn't they do that at one point?
For the Intercontinental title.
Yeah,
Did they?
co-intercontinental.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
know things. There's a reason I'm the champ.
So before the Salt Fest gets started, and before we talk about NXT, because we always like to start hot and then kind of drift off into insanity later on.
Yep.
We definitely want to thank our two sponsors, as you know, Tigerbomb Tom had mentioned himself there. Casual Gaming Dad, as always, we are so happy to have his support and have his channel give us those likes and shares. We certainly do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you,
As
Seth.
well as WrestleDeals.com, your home for violent deals and bloody good prices. We always appreciate Sean's support as well, getting their name out there on the indie.
Oh, you know what?
indie
Before we go into NXT, I do have a bone to pick with these idiots that listen to our show.
Oh,
Oh, well, now hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I want to say this. The last video is the last podcast is doing gangbusters. We're getting some great fans, so we're glad to have you here. So before Ransom starts spitting his venom and vitriol towards all of you, just know that 2/3 of us are glad to have you here. Go ahead, Ransom.
Well, listen, I don't know these people, and I don't like people that I don't know. So,
Okay.
hold on. I need to. Let me just
New
pull something
things
up here real
scare
quick.
me.
Yeah, no, they don't scare me. I just don't like them. I don't like chains.
He's
I don't like.
stroking.
I don't like okay.
Ransom is stroking out. We need to get an ambulance over there stat.
Shut up. It's fine. Listen. To all you these idiots that watch our
There he
stupid
goes.
videos, I got a bone to pick with you, you dum-dums. And I get it. I get it. You've seen me make those stupid videos where I'm standing in my driveway in the middle of the night. Okay? It's a thing. It's a character. Okay? I'm not like this. Well, no, I am. But I don't call people idiots to their faces. I mean, I'll call them idiots to, the three people on this podcast with me. But I don't call you people idiots to your faces. I'm not like that. Okay? It's a character. It's like JBL or the King. All right?
Oh,
He doesn't-
JBL.
He's not actually a king of anything. And JBL doesn't drive around with big horns on his actual car. So
Maybe
shut
he
up.
might.
Okay?
He might.
It's a fucking gimmick. It's a fucking character. Get over it. But anyway, you idiots that listen to this show, I look on our stupid Facebook page, which, by the way, fuck that guy in his ass. Facebook, what's his name? I don't even.
Mark
I can't even remember.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he can suck a big one. But
Here come the
anyway,
losses.
He's just burning this podcast to the ground right now.
Yes,
yeah,
all
F
the
it.
bridges.
You know what? I don't care. The only
Just
listener
torture
we
them.
need is me. The only listener we need is me. We don't need the rest of you.
Once again,
Hashtag
people-
hashtag
once
heel.
again,
Hashtag heel.
The views of Madman Ransom are not representative of the rest of the podcast. Go ahead.
So why are there so many people that like and watch our videos on stupid Facebook, and our stupid YouTube thing has 15 subscribers? 15 subscribers. I know there are more than that of you idiots out there that watch and comment. And there's this freaking kid who wants to intern.
I can
You know
shed some
what?
light on that, actually. I can shed light on that, man.
I can't remember your name. Whatever your name is, we produced and filmed this podcast. That's right, it's filmed. But you don't get to see it. Only we get to see
Before a
it.
live
But it's
studio
filmed at the
audience.
CBS studios in downtown Pittsburgh. So Monday morning, I expect to see you down there promptly at 8 a.m. Tell the security guard that Ransom is expecting you. You better have a suit and a tie. I better see wing
Get his coffee.
I better see wingtips. You better have a briefcase. I want you looking fucking professional when you
Not
show
a
up
money
there.
in the bank briefcase either.
No, I want a professional
Not a
leather
blue box
bound
briefcase.
briefcase. It better have a towel stitching, and I want your stupid initials embroidered on it. You show up there, your security badge will be waiting for you, and you tell them that Ransom sent you. We're on the 15th floor. Get your ass up there on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. But to all you other idiots out there that watch these videos, how about you subscribe to our YouTube channels, dum-dums, all of you.
This has
I'm
been
gonna die.
this has been the P3 podcast. Thank you very much.
40,
Wow.
$49.99. Hold on, let me get my mic close to my face. $49.99. I'm going to start charging you idiots because you don't subscribe to the goddamn YouTube channel. Subscribe or I'll charge you. And you'll pay.
Oh my God.
You'll pay. I'll come to your house and I'll find you and you'll fucking pay.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
As one of the sponsors, let me try to reel this back in. Okay. So I will. Wow. Okay. So there
The
is.
proceeding has been brought to you by the Madman Alec Ransom Productions. Get over it.
Now I will say. Oh Jesus Christ! After I can stop coughing and dying. Okay. So as far as the difference between the Facebook and YouTube stuff, I will say having my page been on Facebook for the last year, And obviously, there's going to be a big difference in between my Twitch and YouTube ones compared to Facebook. But I will say it is much easier to grow your numbers on Facebook because it's designed for sharing, as where with YouTube and Twitch, it's more like luck of the draw. Like if people tell somebody about your page, they'll come see it, or they got to catch you live, or just happen to find it in the zeitgeist of videos that are on the sides, like recommended for you. But like Facebook is a lot easier to build your brand off of. But just keep plugging away, you'll be all right.
I don't accept excuses from these people. It's 2 clicks. You sign
These
in.
people.
Yeah, I'll tell you
type
what.
it up. You sign in. You click the sign in button. You type your username. You type your password. It better not be password 123 because I'll hack your shit. And you click subscribe. It's 5 seconds.
No,
click, type, click.
Hold on.
And
you subscribe to your Google podcast though.
Google Podcasts or on Anchor.fm or Spotify. Spotifoo.
Put this shit on iTunes. I want Steve Jobs to cut me a check.
Listen,
From the
man,
grave, bring your inventoring ass back to life. Invent yourself a flux capacitor. Come back and pay me.
I currently have 2 subscriptions on Google Podcasts.
So
it's you guys and Talk is Jericho. That's it.
Oh wow, we're in good company. We need to get Dean Ambrose on. I'm sorry, Jon Moxley on here.
There you go.
That'll put some butts in seats. All right, so let's bring Ransom back from the Badlands. Yeah,
wow, that was a Tony Schiavone throwback right there.
Man,
I know, right?
Jeez, oh man, I almost didn't catch that.
You know, to be fair, and so I we're going to talk about NXT, and this is not like last week whenever I kept saying we're going to talk about Money in the Bank and we never did. We're going to talk about NXT because it was good, but I'll lead with this.
Hey, we don't want to talk about that.
Before, really quick, Beef, just to let you know, later on, I do have a swan song this week.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah.
I also have a legendary letdown, so I think we're in good shape here.
Okay, NXT, let's do it.
But before we do that, I just want to just a real quick aside about the whole butts and seats and Moxley. When Ambrose left, I never put my chips on that guy. I said, okay, here's a guy that was marginal. He was good, but I don't think he'll ever put a whole bunch of eyes on products. Fucking silly me. Not only did he show up in AEW and absolutely wreck house and look like a fucking madman, but he recently showed up on lunatic, excuse me. And it recently showed up on New Japan, and I have yet to watch the match, but I'm going to. I'm going to find it. I'm going to watch it. Moxley versus Juice Williams for the IWGP
Robinson?
United States. What did I say? Williams?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, you did.
Juice Robinson.
Juice Robinson, thank you.
CJ Parker.
Did he win that title?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. And here was a hell of a match, and I mean, apparently Moxley is doing some things, so I stand corrected. But
that's just proof in the pudding that WWE cripples the talent that they could be enhancing.
Now,
Jon Moxley could have really gone far as Dean Ambrose, but WWE fucking crippled him.
The problem is I really don't aside from the fact that Vince is a dumbass who doesn't understand what's happening right now, what's hip and what's cool, and doesn't know what a burrito is, I'm not going to let you forget that shit. The thing with, if you go back and watch some of his stuff as Jon Moxley back in CZW or on the indies or anything, number one in the ring, he does a great job. But the thing is, that character, he really, and all the stuff he talked about on Jericho's podcast or on the Pro Wrestling podcast, was it Wade Keller? The Wade Keller podcast. You have to let Jon Moxley do his thing. You cannot give him... you could sit and talk with him and go, ooh, this might be cool, and do that kind of thing. But you have to let someone like that do their own thing because he's the only one who knows what Jon Moxley is going to do. And the nice thing about AEW and New Japan is that they give the freedom for him to do that, and they let him be say and do what he sees fit. They don't put him in a box and say, you must do this, because if you don't, you're gonna lose sponsors, or you're at the behest of an old man who thinks dick and fart jokes are hilarious. You know what I mean?
And that's like the big key word that I saw in the one review of the match, which I think was yesterday morning. They said it was like he was operating without handcuffs for the first time in 7, 9, 10 years.
Yep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the literal like shackles are loosed, and man, I think we're in for something here. I really do.
And
Tell you
well,
what.
beef
And also, when you're done listening to this podcast and being verbally berated by me, go listen to Chris Jericho's podcast where he had Jon Moxley on, because Moxley really goes in and shares a lot of insight as to how Vince McMahon really handcuffed and crippled his character, and really had him. They wanted him to make all sorts of goofy gimmicks, ride down the road on a unicycle because take fringe, and that's what lunatic would
you're
apparently do.
different. That's you.
And they
Like,
wanted
here's
him
the
to
thing.
crack jokes at Roman Reigns about Roman Reigns.
Oh my
cancer.
god!
not
I
even
read that. Holy fuck!
not
They
even
wanted
crack
him.
jokes.
They wanted him to cut a promo and heal up on freaking Roman Reigns, in an actual real life friend of Jon Moxley. They wanted him to cut a heel promo and berate him and make fun of him and and really cut him down about this cancer thing. And that is that's not cool to do. That's like saying, "Hey, Brett, we want you to come out and make jokes and cut a promo on Owen's death. Are you out of your mind?"
Well, that and the thing is too, like Moxley, like it's so cool to see him being able to live to his full potential, because I think that was part of the thing whenever the Shield broke up initially and you saw the three personalities go their separate ways. Dean Ambrose was constantly the underdog, and you could tell that it's like he wouldn't think of shit this schlocky or anything like that. And my original point, I was going to say, Beef, the legend over here, notoriously hates DDTs as a finisher. Okay,
I do.
I get it.
They're stupid and overused.
No, listen. What do you think of the Death Rider DDT?
I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
right.
I haven't seen it. What is
It's
it?
Hold on.
okay.
What's the variation?
Okay, so Dean, when he was Dean Ambrose, he did the Dirty Deeds, which was a double arm DDT. Mick Foley used it, and I always liked double arm DDT.
Which is a great move,
It
but he got
is.
very lackadaisical with it, and it started looking real schlocky at the end.
But the variation here, Ransom, is he does a spike double arm DDT, so he picks them up almost vertical and then dumps them down.
I like
So
that.
like almost like a double arm brainbuster DDT.
Yes,
almost.
Very
Yes.
similar. Yeah,
Very
exactly.
similar.
Wow. All right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
And
Was
Juice
there somebody that
I saw.
was there somebody that used to do that back in the day? Was like was it close to the curtain call? That
It was
Goldust used
the Impaler.
the Impaler.
The-
Okay.
well, not the Impaler.
Oh yeah, Edge. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
Edge.
you're right. That's,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they call it. Edge's DDT is the Impaler, very similar to that, except for again towards the end he got very schlocky with it and turned into just another stupid looking fucking DDT.
It was a lower and lower angle. When it first started out,
Right.
it was like not a 90-degree
suplex,
angle.
more or less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. But and that's the thing, is like having Moxley be able to take a move that obviously was, generic, and the way he delivered it with such immediacy is what made it a good finisher for him in the WWE. But he took it and he just turned it up to 11. And that's what he's doing with the Jon Moxley character now. He's taking Dean Ambrose and cranking him up to 11.
Good for him. Good on
for
him.
And I'll tell
Good
you
on
what.
him for being able to leave and say, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to try and do this on my own. Not on his own. He's kind of on his own. Kind of
Well,
like
and the
what
thing-
Cody did, and that's a callback to what Beef said. Is that I can't remember exactly what you said. I'm 2 beers in and I'm angry and I'm flustered and these stupid people that listen. Same thing with Cody.
Don't
The
talk
same
about
thing
Tom that
happened with-
way.
Hey,
Oh,
now
sorry, Tom. Sorry,
I'm drinking cherry Coke tonight, but no.
I apologize. It's the
Oh,
same
going
thing with
hard,
Cody,
huh?
Though. They wanted
I will-
Cody to do that stupid Stardust character, and they wouldn't let him go out and be Cody Rhodes. So he said,
Exactly.
F it. He went out and did it on his own. And look at the matches that he puts on. Not just at this last AEW show. If you go out and look at his matches from the independent scenes, when he was with Bullet Club and stuff like that, I've gone back and watched some of his matches. Man, they are the best matches of his that I've ever seen. So much better than WWE, because he goes out and he's being Cody Rhodes.
Well, here's the thing,
And he's
too.
delivering very, very well.
Here's a big reason for that too. Number one, and this is something that also that Dustin Rhodes had alluded to on Jericho's podcast. I was actually just listening to that earlier today, and I told you guys too. I was like, it was a really good one too.
I have to listen to that one. I haven't listened to that one.
Yeah. Listen to that one for sure. It was also good. But you hear a number of guys talk about this in the business, whether it be, it happened to Jericho, it happened to Dustin, and I'm sure many others too. It's happened to CM Punk, happened to Ambrose. When you start to lose a passion for the business, and it's just like for anybody else in their normal day-to-day job, when you lose a passion for something and you say, I'm not enjoying doing the thing that I aspired to do for so long, that I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and I loved doing it for so long, when you lose the passion for it, you're naturally just it's not gonna be there, and people can see it in your work. Like if I had a day where I was just like, I don't want to fucking stream at all, I don't want to deal with people, this and that, there were days where I was just like, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling well today, I'll catch you guys tomorrow, because I don't want to half-ass it now.
Dude, I did that for a damn near year on my gaming channel.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Like, it comes through in your work now, especially even more so when you have actual eyes on you, like, to that magnitude, like, you know, like just having that large of an audience, having eyes on you. But I will say, to Cody's credit, I didn't know until after he left the WWE that, he hated the Stardust character. So kudos to him for going out and knocking that character out of the park, because that's
every
exactly
single
what,
damn night.
Exactly.
Every
He did.
single damn
He
night.
did that.
He hated
That's-
it, but he put 110% into it. And if you were a fan, a casual fan, whatever, and you were watching that, like you said, Tom, you would not have known that he despised that character so much, because he poured every single ounce of what he had into that character, and he made you believe that he loved doing it.
And the same thing with Dustin doing the Goldust character. Like, I listened to the podcast. He's like, when they told me where your character is going to be androgynous, he's like, I didn't know what the hell that meant. He's like, and the thing is, he went out, and not that it didn't sound like he hated it or anything like that. He just didn't know what to do with it at first, and it wasn't getting the reaction they wanted to. Until a couple matches in, and he started doing some of the more over sexualized stuff, and it got the reaction out of the crowd, and Vince loved it. One of the things I will say, kind of playing devil's advocate, is that, and I think it's kind of been with a change of the times, and the fact that Vince is just older and out of touch now, but also the fact that back in the day with stuff during the Attitude Era, they could push the envelope a little bit more. With characters like Goldust and having your Stone Colds and everything like that. Nowadays, they're not targeting that 18 to 34 audience like how AEW seems like they're going to do. It's more so they have to cater to everybody, and the little kids too. Now they have sponsors, and they're publicly traded, and yada yada yada. And I know it's a cop-out excuse, but heavy is the head that wears the crown, unfortunately.
Well, here's the thing.
Exactly.
But Vince needs to, let people have a little bit of creative freedom. One thing that I'm happy to see him doing, but I'm also scared of, is that everything that he's doing with Bray Wyatt right now, because he's letting Bray take the reins. But I wonder, I'm like, it's almost like I'm kind of almost expecting the shoe to drop and just be like, go to shit. I hope that I'm wrong.
The ring. Yep.
I hope that I'm wrong, but I love
Tom,
the stuff that's going on.
Tom, I was actually just about to say the same thing. The best stuff that Vince McMahon ever did, and like ever had his name attached to, was not 100% Vince McMahon exclusive, which is what's happening now. If you go back and you read Mick Foley's books, he talks about the process of Mankind the Mauler, about the mask that they wanted him to wear. And they talk about Steve Austin's gimmicks that he had, Ice
the
Cold,
ring master. Fang McFreeze,
Fang McFrost,
Fang
Ice
McFrost,
Dagger.
Chili McFreeze.
Right.
Chili
So
McFreeze.
these are all
Ice Dagger.
like, these are all things that Vince McMahon like spearheads, and you get that idea and you say, okay, Vince, how about we do this? And in the Attitude Era. And again, I'm not a giant Attitude Era mark, but I think it's regarded as one of the biggest, because it was a boom time for wrestling.
It was.
Everybody kind of had their own little spin on things, and they could make that change. And in promos, they had their own like way of going about it. Now everything is 100. Exactly, everything is 100% handcuffed. Everything is 100% Vince's way or the highway. And we're going to talk about the Vince versus Triple H thing, which I think is definitely interesting news. It may be blown out of proportion, but I do want to talk about it later on this podcast. But it's a big fucking deal, I think.
Yeah. Oh,
And that's a
for
callback
sure.
too to what Moxley said on Jericho's podcast. You know, he wanted to go out and be able to do these promos, and him and the writer got a memo from Vince McMahon. It said, from VKM, Dean Ambrose is to read the promos verbatim. Dean Ambrose is not to ad-lib his promos. He's not to go off script. Dean Ambrose is to do this. And it's like, man, you're giving people no creative control. And I can see how Vince might be fearful of creative control, because look how it backfired in WCW. Those guys had complete creative control over their characters. And that ended up in the fucking finger poke of doom with Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan, and Jeff Jarrett laying down in the middle of the ring for Hulk Hogan. You know,
right,
sure,
there's a difference.
Badly, but you need to have
there's a difference,
of creative control to be able to be like, hey, look, I want to go out and cut this promo. Afterwards, you let me know, hey, that was a stinkeroo. We're going to have to start, tweaking things. Or, hey, you know what? You knocked it out of the park. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, but if you don't give them that option to try, you're going to handcuff people into some silly, goofy-ass promo.
Right, and like I was talking about with the Goldust stuff, he even talks about that. Like I said, he talked about that on the podcast, that he was getting no reaction. Vince wasn't the one that told him to go out and start like rubbing his ass on people and get behind people and rubbing their chest. It was actually the other wrestler that was in the ring with him that said, "Hey, dude, we're gonna try this." And fucking Vince loved it back then. Like, he was just like, "That's some good shit there," And like, that's the thing. You have to put some sort of personality into a character. It cannot just be on a script verbatim with robotic like, you have to be able to let people exercise a little bit. Just say like, hey, you know what? Here's even if they hand you a script, it's just like, here's a script. Make sure you hit these bullet points, but make it your own. But make sure you hit these 3, 4, 5 points, whatever.
Yep.
Do that. That's the way, Vince is still ultimately in control. Nobody's saying that, people are going to go out and book themselves to win or book the finger poke of doom. That obviously, that's not going to happen. But he's gotta loosen up the reins a little bit, or else he's just going to make everybody creatively stagnant, lower morale, which a lot of people already think is going on, and I'm sure a lot of it is going on, because you have wrestlers asking for their releases, and but like we always keep saying, Triple H, God bless him, he's doing everything right down in NXT. So let's segue. Let's segue into the card.
You are killing like you're right on my brainwave tonight, because I was like, let's talk about something that they're doing right in NXT.
Right. Good transition.
Barn burner.
So
I got the fucking Vince Jedi mind trick on you right now.
That's true. You do. So Double or Nothing was an amazing show, because I'm interested to see how AEW does the pay-per-view format, and I've said that before, because I want to see, because as a standalone event, Double or Nothing was amazing. Takeover wasn't Takeover Connecticut 25 wasn't as amazing, but in the scheme of like the NXT universe, was pretty fucking great.
Yes, yes, it was.
Just a real quick call out. I want to hear from all of you guys. What was your one takeaway from the event? What was your favorite thing or favorite match or favorite moment that happened?
Go ahead, Poot.
Oh, you don't start with me. I'm sitting here. I'm thinking. Go ahead, Ransom.
Mine was Gargano and Cole, and I think that's just because whatever. Call me a Shawn Michaels mark. I don't give a shit. I am. I look at Adam Cole, and I know that's not his gimmick. I know it's not. He's not the sexy boy. He doesn't come out with the mirror. He doesn't have the assless chaps and the flashy vests or whatever it is that Shawn Michaels used to wear. But damn it, if I could have pictured what Shawn Michaels, if he would have had a child that would have ended up in the wrestling business, I would see Adam Cole. He is so damn good in the ring. He's so impressive. He's always freaking spot on. His moves are crisp. He gets the crowd behind. they could push him as much as they want to as a heel, and people would cheer for him every time he stands in the ring and puts his fingers in the air and goes, Adam Cole, baby. Every single person, I swear, in that audience screams baby with him.
He was
he
so...
not even
he is
that.
a heel.
Yeah,
You know?
not even that. They have one person, like if you watch Takeover, especially this one, there's like one person in the crowd will stand there and go, Adam Cole, and like the other like 10,000 like, baby. It's weird, but it's awesome. I love it.
He's got Stone Cold Steve Austin level heat on him, and not heat in the traditional sense of, people are angry at you, or, you got people pissed at you, like you talk about, the boys have heat in the back, or whatever. He's got crowd heat to where it doesn't matter if he's a heel or a face. He comes out and puts those fingers in the air. People are going to scream baby. If that one person in the crowd screams Adam Cole, everybody else is going to scream baby. The thing that I'm going to lose my mind over, and I really, I'm praying. I'm going to get on my knees and pray about this. Please, please don't let him go to the main roster. As much as people say that the main roster is where it's at, and you've hit the big leagues, and people make reference to, I want to go to WWE, and that's where I want to retire, and blah, blah, blah. Man, if he goes to the main roster and he gets buried or turns into this mid-card nobody, right there is proof in the pudding that Vince McMahon has absolutely no idea what he's doing and no idea what the people want. Because Adam Cole is so on fire since day one where he showed up in NXT and I can't remember who it was he super kicked.
It was Drew McIntyre.
Was it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was right after
Drew
Drew McIntyre won the title. When he showed up there, from that day until right now, he has been on fire, one of the hottest superstars ever. And it doesn't matter if he's cutting a promo. It doesn't matter if he's standing at ringside with the rest of the Undisputed Era and they're in a tag match. It doesn't matter what he's doing. People are cheering for him. They've got his slogans down. People are going to buy his merch. He can be the 2019 version of Stone Cold Steve Austin in the way that it doesn't matter if he's booked as a face or a heel. People are going to cheer the hell out of him.
Exactly.
And if he gets ruined, then that's WWE's own fault that they're ruining somebody like that, because there's no reason whatsoever that when Adam Cole, eventually it's going to happen, I know it is, there's no reason that when he goes to the main roster, he should not be on top and stay on top for a very, very long time because of the crowd reaction and the fan reaction and heat with the fans that he has. There's no reason for it.
Right. What about you,
Tom?
Pete?
What do you think? No, I'll go. No, let's go.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So there were a lot of great stand-up performances. Cole Gargano 2 was a masterclass. I think On Point with Cole Gargano 1 was right there with it, man. Wonderful basketball storytelling. But for me, man, the fucking MVP of the night, and I loved Riddle versus Strong too, don't get me wrong, but the MVP of the night was Kyle O'Reilly, because my God, he got the shit kicked out of him. And there were like maybe 4 or 5 times during the course of that ladder match where I said to myself, there's no chance that O'Reilly's getting up for that. There's no, he's going to have to go to the back. There's no chance. The initial ladder spot that like busted open his back of all places, the, his Bobby or Fish falling on him, after the one ladder spot. Like there were like 4 or 5 things that happened, and I'm like, holy shit, why is Kyle O'Reilly getting dumped on? And then I realized that he's the fucking workhorse of the match. He's the Kofi Kingston. He's the Shawn Michaels. He's the Adam Cole. He's the guy that's making that match like hit the next level. Man, did it fucking work.
For the sake of sounding like a main event bandwagon fan or whatever, I mean the whole pay-per-view all over was every match was really good top to bottom. I think and this is really saying a lot. If you put a gun to my head and you said what's the worst match of the night, it would have probably been Baszler Shirai if I had to pick a worse one. But every match was like at least a 4 or 5 star match. Like they were so good. Honestly, I think the biggest thing I took away from this was something that Poot had alluded to last podcast when we talked about the AEW pay-per-view, is that this was especially more so during the main event match between Cole Gargano, is that I was on the edge of my seat, jumping up and down, not only for the fact of the that this match hinged on the result of the Cruiserweight Championship for the podcast, because I'm excited. I'm excited for our damn fake title. I don't care. Call me what you will. I wanted to win, but the fact that me and my son was like kind of in and out. I don't know. Sometimes he likes to pay attention to it. Sometimes he doesn't. But I get my kids invested into NXT and stuff. Like my daughter, like I'll say something. She's like, I was like, do you know who's in the match? I was like, it's Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. And she goes, baby. And I was like, damn right. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
She knows. She knows.
She knows.
She knows.
But I'll tell you what, me and my daughter were jumping up and down, like, whenever Cole had put Gargano in the one submission, she's like, come on. And I'm like, I mean, we are just like we're totally marking out. And that's what I did for the majority of this pay-per-view. Even though I knew what happened at the end of Riddle Strong, because I tuned in at like the very last end of it when they were just beating the absolute piss out of each other for the last like minute and a half straight. I went back and watched that match, and even still, like I was sitting there, like so many of the spots, I was like, this is such a good match. And I like, again, it made me feel like a young fan again. I was, especially Cole Gargano, I was on the edge of my seat. I didn't know what was going to happen. In my heart, I wanted Cole to win, even though I picked Gargano for the picks. But I wanted Cole to win because I wanted him to have that moment. And so many times I thought, shit, he's not going to get it. I'm going to win the title belt, but fucking Cole's not going to get his moment. And I felt so many emotions during that match. It was so great. And just like, even my girlfriend was standing there, kind of like actually half paying attention to it. And she's not a wrestling fan, but she was watching it. And I was like, you're actually invested a little bit. She's like, I just gotta see what you guys are screaming about. And I'm like, yeah, this match, look at it. This is what wrestling is supposed to be. So.
And that's what you don't get on the main roster. You don't get that. I keep going back to this, and I'm sorry.
Kofi Bryan was the closest thing I felt to that, but again, it was one of those things like,
even then it felt like a generic version of that.
Yeah,
I don't get that emotional surge in main roster matches. I can't remember the last time I got one. The first Adam Cole Johnny Gargano match, I think I said before, I was on my feet. I can't remember the last time I was on my feet for a wrestling match.
Well, I'll tell you what. Part of that is probably because there was only 39 minutes out of a 3-hour show of actual wrestling on Raw. I didn't even watch SmackDown. I still got to catch up on both the NXT brands. But Poot, what say you about this NXT event?
Well, you said about the 39 minutes, and I decided with the past two Fast Count newses, I was like, I like that format a little bit better. Instead of being an actual like news segment, have it be something quick, like Fast Count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I said Bray Wyatt is a fucking treasure, and I will get to that later.
But that was great.
But my favorite thing, actually, I mean, it's really hard to pick, but for me, it was actually Riddle Dream. Okay, and here's why.
Wait. You mean Riddle Strong?
Riddle Strong. Sorry, Riddle Strong. Wow.
Okay, I was gonna say
Dream. What's wrong with Breeze? Dream Breeze. Thank you, Dream Breeze. Man, I'm all cattywampus today. Dream Breeze. You know why? First, for two reasons. Number one, I like seeing Tyler Breeze in this new kind of grizzled veteran thing. His like ring attire is more simple. Yep. He looks tough. He looks like he's world-worn. He's gone through the rough bullshit of the main roster, and he's back to show people, hey, listen, okay, it's a doofy.
Sorry, I gotta interject and point something out. My girlfriend said he looked like a fucked up Ken doll.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. It's like that works. It works, and if
it fucking works hard.
If they play it as like he's the model that was put through the ringer, you know what I mean? And he came out the other side like more wise and more aggressive, you know. And you even saw that he was more aggressive a little bit, you know what I mean? And I think there's a lot to do with that. And NXT is perfect for him for that vehicle. Now, the reason that I think is because they put on an absolutely bomb match. This whole card was fantastic, but
No
this match.
disappointments. No.
Now the thing with this is, think about the match that came right before them. What was it?
The ladder match.
The ladder match. And the ladder match, coming off the heels of that, I went, man, I feel bad for these two. They got to come off the emotional high of that ladder match. Oh, son of a bitch. This is going to be tough. And they made it work. They made it work.
Really good.
They got the crowd re-engaged, because at the beginning, the crowd was a little kind of like, oh, man, okay, I'm kind of beat now. I'm like emotionally drained. And they drew them in and brought them in and brought a killer match, and it showed. Yeah, not Drew Brees. Oh my God, Tyler Breeze lost. Tyler Breeze lost that match, but I could see them, if they really play the new Tyler Breeze character right, I could really see them having a little series of matches over takeovers. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Definitely.
And it's something I'd even said in the chat to you guys is the mutual respect thing. I think if they do a series of matches between them, I think something's going to happen that whenever is it usually in September that the Dusty tag the tag tournament happens?
No, it just happened. It just happened prior to WrestleMania. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't remember when it kicked. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Ricochet and Black won that one.
Right, I couldn't remember like when it kicks off or how long it goes on for, because I felt like it went on for a while. But I think future fantasy booking, I think whenever you get the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament, I think you see those two together. I'm calling it. I'm calling it because I think by that time, I think Velveteen Dream will have dropped the North American title to somebody else, or specifically more so by that time, Roderick Strong will have that title. So I will say future tag team right there, Dream Breeze. But go ahead, Poop.
I want to make a little callback just real quick about what you said about them following the ladder match. The good Lord. Holy
what the hell's happening?
Is that Mordor screaming?
No. It's some sort of domestic in Mordor.
Is that pterodactyls? It sounded like pterodactyls flying overhead.
It might have been pterodactyls. Freaking, I tell you, someone's going to end up getting shot, not by me. I'm just going to end up hearing it. Oh, damn it. I got derailed by the freaking banshees down the road. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Oh, no, it wasn't that. Call back to that ladder match. Damn. Oh, the beers. The beers have got me.
You got to stop doing that whenever I have a drink in my mouth. I almost spit it all out.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
That's okay.
It didn't seem like a struggle either to get the crowd reinvested in their match. They followed a hell of a match, and it didn't seem like they had any problems getting the crowd to reinvest in the show. They were able to suck them back in, and they sucked them into their match and really had them, invested and interested in their match. It seemed like with ease. I don't know if it's actually with ease or not. Holy shit, man. Can you go inside and fight? Jeez, oh, man.
We said the podcast was going to get real tonight, and goddamn, it is.
Yeah, I'm going to drive my car down the alley and just mow people down. But it didn't seem like they had any problem sucking people back in. And that, to me, is the sign that you have, A, quality talent in your match, and B, you've got the right people behind the scenes going, hey, you know what? This match is going to follow it, and it's going to be a killer. The ladder match knocked it out of the park, but you guys are going to be able to follow it easily, and you're going to knock it out of the park as well. And they did.
Yep.
It was.
And I'll tell you what,
it seemed like it was super easy for them to do it.
I'll tell you what, it had they switched up the order of that at all, had it been the women's match following that ladder match, I think we would be. I think I would have been saying, okay, the women's match was like a 3-star match instead of like a 4. That's important. That is a big kudos to whoever has the final decision, whether it's Triple H or whoever with booking and stuff back there. But deciding the actual card order is so important.
I can't wait till we hear. I can't wait till we hear about how successful that Road Dogg is in NXT as a producer and how, because we saw him leave SmackDown with his tail between his legs because for the same reason that fucking Mick Foley left the commentary desk on SmackDown, because working for Vince McMahon under Vince McMahon is fucking hell.
Now, here's my thing. I gotta ask though. Like, okay, so obviously, because maybe you have a better idea than I do. I mean, obviously, we all know that Triple H runs NXT and he's a fucking beast, and he's also filling in for McMahon and stuff like that, or whatever on the main roster stuff. If anybody hasn't watched the special on Triple H that followed NXT, it was really good.
Did not watch it yet.
I highly suggest
it was really good.
Yeah,
it's a half an hour. It's an easy watch.
It really is. Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
If we're done, early enough, maybe I'll watch it tonight. We'll see.
There you go. But so how big of a logistical difference, not just personality wise between like Vince and Triple H, but like when somebody is in NXT, say their contract comes up and they go up to the main roster, they have to sign like a new main roster contract because NXT is
I think
that's what
they have developmental deals. So and this is my understanding, I could be wrong. They have developmental deals which basically function like rookie contracts in the NFL, and that may be foreign to our fan base. What that means is that you're signed on a low guarantee, high potential thing where it's like, hey, we're going to give you X, but you have the potential to earn X, Y, and Z if you outperform that. I don't know if that – so, like, right now, Ricochet would be a prime example because he's only been in the WWE and NXT for what? I think this is his third year coming up, I think, at SummerSlam, I think.
Really? Third year? Wow.
Because he's been in 2 War Games matches, I think, right? So this will be the third War Games, I think, right? I could be wrong about that. Anyway, my point is that he's already on the main roster after having basically a cup of coffee on NXT. So in theory, he would still be working off of that quote-unquote rookie deal. Now, I imagine that his developmental deal is much different because he had a big name on the Indies and on Lucha Underground and in New Japan. So he was well established, much like that of AJ Styles, but not quite the extent. But all the same, in theory, he would be nearing the end of probably his developmental deal. I don't think it's like, okay, you're on the main roster, let's get you, a new ink on paper. I think you work out that contract and you have maybe a chance to renegotiate if you get that opportunity.
Okay, so the reason I ask that though is because, like Ransom, I'm hoping and praying that Adam Cole and some others don't go up to the main roster to get buried in mid-card obscurity. If
they don't have a choice.
Well,
they don't have a choice because at the end of the day, and WWE and Michael Cole and they can all say this is his first time in WWE ever, and we've known he's been in NXT for the last 2 years. But at the end of the day, Vince McMahon owns every one of them, and just like with fucking Aleister, God freaking Black, if Vince snaps his hands and says, "I want him here now," regardless of what he's doing in NXT, he's on the main fucking roster. Regardless of how many fucking weeks in SmackDown, he's going to give a fucking promo talking about wanting to fight but never actually fighting because they don't have fucking dick all for him. He doesn't have a choice.
I think he's also. I think to be fair, I think he's also, if I understand correctly, I think he's nursing some light injuries as well. Okay. I think
that's
so.
Fair enough. Fair enough if that's the case. Let me. Sorry. The reason I asked about that was that, with the contracts and stuff, is to say, what's to say if you get somebody who is doing well in NXT, hasn't gotten called up to the main roster yet, and they just say, hey, you know what? I've seen what's been going on with the main roster. I'm out the door. Nothing's to stop them from just letting their contract expire and doing what Moxley did. And I just wondered how much of how much of the disconnect was there, because obviously NXT is a part of WWE, but I think it's such night and day. It's amazing to me how night and day it is when you have somebody that still technically owns it while your son-in-law is running it.
Right, de facto owner. Well, and I think we're seeing that play out right now with Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks was fucking killing in NXT. She got to the main roster. Yeah, okay, they gave her a bunch of title reigns, but she never won in a clutch match. they never truly capitalized on who she truly was. You know, it was a fucking meme. It's boss time, and she was a vehicle for T-shirt sales.
You know what? I'm sad. I'm sad that they didn't utilize her and Bailey as the women's tag champs and really propel that women's tag division. But thank God I don't have to listen to Michael Cole say it's boss time,
right?
Because I'd want to blow my fucking brains out.
It's boss time.
Every single time. Every
And just when we think
every time.
And just when we think we're getting lucky with no more, it's the big dog because he's on fucking SmackDown. No, he's not. No, he's
on
fucking
both.
not. He is on fucking both shows.
So we get it fucking 5 times as much.
Okay,
Roman
no.
wild card reigns.
Let me pose this to you guys. So Road Dogg left SmackDown, goes to NXT. NXT Takeover 25 was an absolutely barn burner, and we could say double or nothing contender, obviously, for in quality. And it's all hold on. It's all under. Don't hum at me. It's all under the guise that are under the direction of Triple H. Do you think that Triple H is kind of building his fiefdom and doing all this, and this was the opening gamut to go, look what I am capable of with these people working with me who know what's happening, and this talent. This is what the main roster could be if I was in charge.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Because
let's talk about it.
Look how long he's been doing it, though. Yeah, I had a Vince McMahon moment there. I mean, it's not just all of a sudden Triple H upped NXT's game and they answered AEW. For me, it seems like Triple H has been answering WWE for years. Years they have. It's not just all of a sudden they've started putting on great shows because they want to compete with AEW. They have been putting on amazing takeovers. They've been putting on great NXT house shows for years.
Yep.
And at this point, I don't think it's going to be any different as far as recognition goes, because if Vince or the board or whoever hasn't stepped up and gone, hey, you know what? NXT is really blowing out of the water any main roster pay-per-view that we seem to be putting on. They're putting on better ones. In all the years that they've been doing it, if no one stepped up and noticed it yet in the WWE corporation, I don't think it's going to happen now. Unfortunately, I would love it if it did, but I think it's crystal clear that Triple H knows the business, knows the fans, knows what they want, and knows how to put on an immaculate show. Some of these NXTs, in my opinion, have been flawless. The in-ring matches, the promos, the commentaries, the packages, everything has been dead on perfect. And I always get fired up and spicy and upset about this because they're great shows. They send these amazing talents that are able to compete in NXT up to the main roster, and they get buried in mid-card obscurity. There's no reason Finn Balor should be a mid-carder now.
Nope.
There's no reason Finn Balor or Samoa Joe should be fighting for the fucking Intercontinental title.
Or the U.S. title.
For it.
Rusev.
Whatever.
Yeah,
there's no reason for it.
Oh, by the way, guys, happy
Sorry, Orton, you had your time. Sorry, Cena, you had your time.
Happy
it's
Rusev
these guys'
Day.
time. Yeah,
Happy
always.
Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
Yes.
And I apologize for not wishing you guys that earlier. That's my bad. I apologize.
It's okay.
That's
I
my
understand. It only comes around once a day.
But yeah, that's what upsets me so much is that they have these great talents on these great events. They go up to the main roster. And it's like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing with these guys that could be your top guys? Let the veterans go off and have these, let Randy Orton fight for the stupid Intercontinental title. Hell, you did it with a legend like Ric Flair. Look at the how many time world champion he's been. He's a household name in the wrestling business. And towards the end of his career, you have him win the Intercontinental title. Okay, well, you did it with Flair. Why can't you do it with Orton or Cena? Have them fight for the Intercontinental or U.S. title, and elevate some of these guys, like Ambrose.
What?
Sorry. Yeah, it should have been. Should have been Ambrose. Ambrose, Reigns. Who's the other guy? Rollins. Freaking Rusev, Cesaro, all those guys. They should be top contenders, damn it.
You know what, Ransom? You bring up a perfect point, being that you just mentioned Cena's name, because I will say this. Even he has that name notoriety. Look at what Cena did And anybody that wants to shit on Cena, I don't care. Like, yeah, let's go Cena. Cena sucks, whatever. But you can't. You got to respect what he's done in his time. Look at what he did for the relevancy of the U.S. Championship. Whenever he did the Open Challenge every week, look at what he fucking did for that title. That's what they need to be doing. They need to put people in positions to succeed.
Yes,
That they're not doing that. Vince is
not
not
even
doing
a little
that.
Okay.
Say what you will about it. I've shat on Cena plenty of times in my life, and I have. And I, thinking back on it, I was a stupid, dumb mark. Whenever I kept saying, "Oh, they're slamming Cena down our throat. Cena needs to go away. They need to turn Cena heel." Yada yada yada. All that stupid bullshit that I spewed. When you go back and Tom, you made a great point that made me think about this. When you look at Cena, even today, if he comes back and starts wrestling again today, full time or whatever you want to say about Cena, he gets a reaction from the crowd. Whether it's "Let's go Cena" or whether it's "Cena sucks," you don't hear the crowd silent during his matches. Whether they're sitting all over him or whether they're cheering for him, the crowd is loud during his matches, and that is a testament to John Cena. That no matter what he does, he can go out there and get a crowd reaction. So kudos to Cena. The world's not coming to an end. I am praising John Cena.
Wow. And he makes people. That's the most important part. That he's used what he has accomplished to get younger guys over. Rusev, Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt, Shinsuke Nakamura have all had major league matches. Some wins, some losses. But those aren't his
Styles
choices.
even the whole
Styles exactly
beat up John Cena.
John Cena.
That was so good.
Decisions, some of those decisions obviously aren't his choice. I'm sure he probably would have liked to put Bray Wyatt over a little bit more, or Rusev.
Yep.
But still, he made them legit people. So I mean, I got nothing but good words for Cena now.
Like, I
Here's
think
the
it's
thing. So we're dancing around this, guys, and I want to bring it up. So there's a report out there that allegedly, now take this with a grain of salt, as with everything on the internet and wrestling, because wrestling are like like women at a fucking barbershop, but or a beauty shop.
There you go.
You're listening to this podcast after all. Take it with a grain of salt. You never know.
Exactly. But there's a report that Vince and Triple H, I believe within the last week, got in a screaming match with each other, a very heated argument with Triple H, letting Vince know, hey, you're doing a very shitty job. Not with those words, but basically with those words, and letting him know that basically he can run better than Vince can, to the point to now they are not on speaking terms. Now, again, we don't know if that's a fact, but it's
allegedly
very believable. It's very believable because you hear these reports about, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, with those guys on the creative from the guys who talk to the guys in creative. Yeah, exactly. We talked about how Triple H is the most frustrated guy, and you can see it in the vignettes and the clips where Triple H is talking to these NXT guys after they get to the main roster, where he's taking them aside and kind of consoling them. It's there, man. I believe it.
Let me make one point, and then I'll mute my mic for a second because I got to go grab another drink. Whether or not it's true, there's a couple old sayings that make you really, really look at this and think that it could be true. One, perception is reality. That's what I was always taught in the military. If you acted like a slob and you were unkept and you were unorganized, and that's exactly what people perceive you to be.
Don't badmouth me.
And two, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, well,
Beef's prom date.
Yeah,
Oh.
But on that note,
It was right there. Sorry, Beef.
Sorry, Shelly, he didn't mean it.
Hey, you know what, Beef? At least,
Bill Washburn was a saint. Thank you very much.
That's right. I forgot about that. You're right.
At least you went to the prom. I never went to my senior prom, so you got one up on me, man. So,
Aww.
yeah. Hashtag.
And now I'm sad.
Hey, can we get
my choice? My choice. I did. You know what I did instead? I hung out with my buddies. We stayed up and watched like the E3 release or whatever, and fucking played video games all night. We didn't give a shit. I was like, I'm not spending $200 on a fucking tuxedo or something like that to go hang out with a bunch of people who I don't give two shits about. Much like how Ransom feels about the listeners of this podcast. On that note, I'm going to drink.
Yeah, hell
Hey,
yeah. fuck 'em.
speaking of our P3 listeners, hey, can we get like a hashtag to get Juju Smith-Schuster to take Tom to a prom? I mean, I think that'd be pretty great, and it seems like Juju's a pretty great guy, so I think we can work that in, right?
Yeah, right. Hashtag
sure.
hugs for Tom.
Hashtag reach arounds for Tom.
Boy, that really would have went well if you didn't flub it.
That's
Listen, they can't all be
I don't-
perfect.
We could
I
fix
don't
it in
think it
post.
would've
It's
been
fine.
wrong,
We'll
though.
fix it in post.
okay. So keeping the positivity going.
You mean I'll fix it in post?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
he's
fine.
got a point. The man is our editor. He our lives are in his hands. So let's keep things positive for right now. Let's talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion for a minute.
I'm
So-
back, bitches.
Oh,
By and large,
I-
and he's has
You're
returned.
Beef.
Good.
You're gonna have to soldier this one, man. Because honestly, the only thing
got
I
it.
know is Mox.
That's not even
yeah.
official yet. So okay, and this is just a little bit of history for our listeners, because you're probably not all New Japan fans, if at all. Dominion is their second biggest show of the year. It's kind of like their SummerSlam. Wrestle Kingdom is their WrestleMania. Dominion, though, has been the show the last 2 or 3 years. Really great card, really great matches, and it looks just as good this year. As I mentioned earlier, Moxley showed up and beat Juice Robinson for the U.S. title. He's probably going to be on the card at some point. You have the main event, Okada, the Rainmaker, who is the perennial champion there, versus Chris Jericho. And Jericho in New Japan Pro Wrestling is probably my favorite Jericho that I've ever seen.
is that the
Ibushi
one where he
versus
paints his face?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, and he
yeah.
comes out
Okay.
like a clockwork orange. Yep.
Yes. Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Ibushi versus Naito for the Intercontinental Championship. If you watch the Ring of Honor Best in the World show at Madison Square Garden on Mania weekend, they had their first match, and it was an instant classic. And then you have right now, which is probably the best match on the card, honestly, Dragon Lee versus Will Ospreay. I'll say that they're probably 2 of the top 5 cruiserweights in the world right now. And they're competing for the IWGP junior heavyweight title. And New Japan very rarely steers you wrong on a big show. It is this weekend. It is 6 o'clock Sunday night in Japan, so it's like 3 a.m. Saturday here. You can catch a replay. What's nice is you can wake up on Sunday morning and 3 a.m. Saturday or Sunday morning. So you can wake up on Sunday morning and catch the replay. And New Japan World is like I think 999 yen, which is like the equivalent of like $870 US. A little poking the ribs of WWE there. Honestly, I said it about Double or Nothing. I'll say it about Dominion. I don't think it's going to disappoint. I think it's going to be a wonderful card and a great thing to watch. So, if you're looking to branch out, if you're looking to see, hey, what else is out there besides this garbage of fucking 39 minutes on a 3-hour broadcast, scope out New Japan Dominion. It's literally all steak, no sizzle. It's wonderful.
Why do they do that? Why do they have so few wrestling matches on a Raw? If anything, I would expect that to be on a SmackDown, and I don't know why. I just always, I guess, saw SmackDown as the second show because Raw has been on for so long. But
There is
why?
that.
Why on a weekly program? Why would you have so few wrestling
because-
matches? I don't understand.
Because
Hold on.
it
Go
has.
ahead, Boo.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Go for it. No, you're
It's
good.
simply because over the years, you see it. If you go back and watch, I haven't watched every single Raw ever, obviously, but just over time, what has taken precedence is the drama behind the stage. They wanted to have, they're trying to tell stories, not in the ring. And people started liking that, and they brought in, people who were not writers or involved in wrestling or necessarily even wrestling fans. They brought in people who wrote for TV, for movies, for daytime dramas and stuff like that. And so what do they know how to do? They know how to communicate emotion, storytelling, and everything through stupid bullshit, over the top drama and stuff, and through conversations. They don't know how to tell it in the ring. You can, again, this is my new, and I told Beef this. It used to be, if you wanted to see a match, in my opinion, that for a longest time, it used to be how you tell a story in the ring. To me, even though it's kind of a slog, honestly, the Iron Man match, they told an entire story in that one compartmentalized match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Now, my match that I show people is Gargano Cole 2. They told a story with no words, just desperation, bitterness, anger, resentment, sadness, frustration. They put it all over there, and it was paced out perfectly. And this is what happens when you let stories happen in the ring. Sure, cutting a promo is important, and being able to communicate your point and send barbs your opponent's way is fine if a promo is done right. And the people who know how to do that right, and this goes back to Moxley's salient point, is the wrestlers. Let the wrestlers be themselves. They're the only one. Like, only Tom knows how to be Tom. Only Beef knows how to be Beef. Only every single person in an asylum knows how to be Ransom, and I only know how to be Poot.
Oh.
You know?
Well, I'll tell you what.
So,
here, to further off your point there, Poot, I would have said a slightly different thing about as far as I have 2 points. One was the match I would have shown people as far as telling a story. I had a close tie. It would have been either Michaels Undertaker with the retirement match for Michaels at whatever WrestleMania that was, or the Michaels Flair retirement match when he retired.
Oh my God, yeah.
That one, I'll tell you what, I remember that distinctly in 2008, whenever, that was 2008. Anyways, whatever that WrestleMania, when it was, what's that?
Nerd.
24.
Thank you. That WrestleMania, when Michaels had to retire Flair, I literally, tears came into my eyes watching that happen, because you saw, like, they told that story in the ring, and then just also production-wise, the camera right on Shawn when you see it in his face, and he says it, he's like, "I'm sorry, I love you," and then puts him down.
So perfect.
That was a match I would have shown people.
And
now I agree with you. It would be I have 2 that I go to. One, it would be Cole Gargano 2, or it would have been Cody and Dustin from AEW.
That's a different. I feel like that one though isn't as easily
different.
accessible to the casual new fan.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not as easily accessible, but depending on the type of fan they are, if they're a fan that likes a little bit more of a violent product, I'll give them that. I'll give them the Blood Feud match, because it was still great storytelling and violence and everything like that.
Agreed.
I don't have a problem with them bringing in people, different facets of writers, like people that write for movies and stuff and this and that. That's fine. Again, you still got to let the wrestlers be the wrestlers. However, if you're gonna do any type of segment, or regardless if it's the match or a segment, do not repeat the same shit from Monday night to Tuesday night, because I'll tell you what, I didn't even watch SmackDown, but I was watching a WrestleLamia video on YouTube, and he made a great point that the same shit that happened to Roman Reigns on Monday night happened on Tuesday night. And how many run-ins do you need on one single show? There were 3 or 4 run-ins on SmackDown. What the fuck are you doing? Like,
I'll tell you what.
That right there shows laziness and complacency and stubbornness. It's got to get fixed.
You're right.
First of all,
and let the writers, let the people who write for TV that they bring in. I think they could do a good job if you let the writers be enhancement for the wrestlers. Don't let them dictate every single thing that the wrestlers are going to do. Don't have them script out everything. Let the writers enhance the talent. Let the talent go to the writers and say, this is what we want to do. This is the story that we want to tell in the ring and with our promos. And let those TV writers help them cultivate that. You know what I mean? Don't let them
honestly,
the wrestlers. Let them be enhancement for wrestlers. And real quick before I forget, because I'm 3 deep now and I'm going to forget if I don't spew it out now.
Go ahead.
The callback that to Tom with the Flair Michaels match. Oh Lord.
Every
You know,
burp you have sounds like a chainsaw trying to start. Like a sad old rusty chainsaw.
I think the dragon in my tummy is trying to start the chainsaw to carve his way out.
Nice.
But it wasn't the most technical in-ring match. And say what you will about Flair. I don't know. I can't remember how old he was at the time, but he was past his prime.
Yeah.
So he wasn't the best of his career in that match. But when you have great storytelling in the ring, it doesn't have to be the most technical match. And my praise of Shawn Michaels has been well documented because he is my favorite wrestler. Bro, shout out to JR on the well documented thing. But they told that match was amazing, not because of the technicality in the ring, but because of the story that they told.
Right.
And
Well,
if you
I'll tell
have
you
wrestlers
what.
that can tell a story in the ring, it doesn't have to be the most technical, perfect in-ring match.
Cena
Just
is
have
a
to tell that story. Yes, you're right.
Cena is a perfect example of that.
Yep.
Yes.
Kato, again, I'm gonna call him out. Kato, a guy who run an independent show back when we were in high school, early college, in KCW, Central Pennsylvania. He would always work smarter, not harder. If you can go out
That's
and
the
work,
key. That's the key.
if
Like
you can go
The
out and kind
Miz.
of work a comedy, exactly. If you can kind of work a comedy match and make it work, and not have to bust your ass doing 630s and inverted 450s and double rotation moonsaults, if you can work, that's the key. And here's the facts, guys. We'll never know what these daytime writer TV guys bring to the table, what these movie writers, Freddie Prinze Jr. used to be a writer on SmackDown, for Christ's sakes. We'll never know what they bring to the table because at the end of the day, they're just like the wrestlers. They have these ideas. They take them to Vince and they say, hey, we have this. And he goes, I hate it. Do it again.
Yep.
Yeah. And if anybody, if you three guys, hang on, Poot.
Yeah.
There it is.
Nice.
If you three guys are bored, or if anybody who's listening, the three other people that aren't us listening to this, especially now after I verbally rated the fans at the beginning of the episode.
You might
If
get,
you're-
you might draw more people in that way. You never know. Reverse
You never know.
psychology.
Yeah, if you're bored, go and watch. I think it was IWC. I used to work at Verizon with a guy who was a former IWC tag team champion. If you're bored and you want to watch it's a fun match. It's not technical. If you hate silly, funny matches, don't watch it. But if you can appreciate a funny, entertaining match, look up on YouTube. It's the Hollywood Balds, not Hollywood Blondes. They were the Hollywood Balds
I'm going to look it up right now. Here we go.
versus sexual harassment.
Oh,
man,
you had me
this-
watch that one time.
This is great already. Hold on.
It is probably the funnest match I have ever watched in my life. At one point in time, both teams are in the ring, and they take turns. Each team takes turns getting up on the turnbuckle, putting their arms up and having the fans cheer for them. And at one point, ring announcer and the referee finally have enough. Wave both of the teams off, and the ring announcer and the referee get up on the ropes and raise their arms. And they get a bigger crowd reaction.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
Than the
why
two tag teams. It's such a fun match.
Hey, Ransom. Ransom. Would it? I think I found it. Is the title of the video IWC Video Archive: The Hollywood Balds versus Sexual Harassment from the channel IWC Pro Wrestling?
Yep, that'd
From
be
like
the one.
4 years ago. Good. I'm
Yep,
gonna.
I'll
I'm
tell
gonna
you
add
what.
that.
The one Hollywood bald who wrestles in dress pants. I worked with him at Verizon. He's a friend of mine, and my lord, it is by far one of the funnest matches I've ever watched. So please do yourself a favor and watch this match. It's very fun.
I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add this to my watch later list, and I'm gonna share it to our group chat.
Oh, there you go.
On Facebook.
Yeah,
so
please
that
do
way, if whenever Poot is editing and everything, if he wants to link it in the description, he can do so.
That'd be fun.
There's one point in the match where one of the guys from sexual harassment.
Thanks for making more work for me, Tom.
Hey, you're welcome. Anything to help, right?
How about
There's
sending
one
me the
point
link there, dum-dum?
There's one point where a guy
it's
from
in the
sexual
chat.
harassment.
Okay.
They stopped the Hollywood Ball. They put their hands up and they stopped them because I think they were coming for like a clothesline or something. They stopped them from running, and they draw an outline of a door in the ring. Then they turn around and they wipe their head like, oh, they want the door. And then the Hollywood Ball tries to open the door, and finally they swing the door open and then charge the sexual harassment guy and give him a clothesline. It is. It's silly, goofy nonsense, but my God, is it funny to watch.
And there is there is room in wrestling for that kind of stuff. Look at Orange Cassidy. I love Orange Cassidy. I can't get enough of Orange Cassidy.
He got shat on so bad by Jim Cornette. If you
he's
listen
a
to Jim
fucking
Cornette's
idiot.
review,
Fuck Jim Cornette. I fucking hate Jim Cornette too, man.
he shat all over AEW, especially the Battle Royal. He just shits on it from start to finish. But
I'll tell you what.
but he's an old man that still, he made so many references to Smoky Mountain Wrestling and Rock and Roll Express, and it's like, hey man, they had their time in the sun, and it was relevant at that time. But it's a new era, it's a new generation, it's a new fan base that's watching the program.
Yep.
And to have somebody come in the ring and keep their hands in their pockets, do these fake little kicks that does nothing, and then take a bump, all the while keeping your hands in the pockets while nipping up.
That's
it's
awesome.
fun. It's fun.
Hilarious.
And people want to see it because it's fun.
I'll tell you what.
I saw a clip. I saw a real quick here, Tom. I saw a clip real recently where Orange Cassidy was in the ring with Joey Ryan, and Joey Ryan is the dick flip guy. And so the whole thing was getting Orange Cassidy's hand out of his pocket and onto Joey Ryan's crotch, and then he has him do a crotch powerbomb to another guy. It was great. Orange Cassidy's breaking out all these great moves. I think a Canadian Destroyer at one point, all while holding on to Joey Ryan's crotch. It was great.
I'll tell you what, another one, and now I've been documented as saying that it's not going to go for more than a year, which I don't think that it will, and it's still a horrendous looking thing. But as far as comedy wrestling goes, R-Truth is owning that 24/7 title right now.
Oh yeah, man, he's
that's
making it work. He's making it work.
Yes.
We're sitting here shitting on them making segments and backstage shit and stuff. The only backstage shit and segments that I'm enjoying right now is R-Truth of the 24/7 title. That's the only schlocky shit that I'm enjoying at all.
But just like anything else, too much of something can, it's going to overkill. So I think it's going hard right now, and that's all well and fine. But the longevity of a gimmick, there's only been a few actual quote unquote gimmicks that have stood the test of time in the WWE, and that's been The Undertaker and Goldust. Just saying that,
Yeah, that's true. Listen, before we go into any further, I don't know where
into the any further.
Yeah, before we go into the any further, that's a place.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick little break, and I don't want to wait till the very end of the episode. I want to do it now. I want to have the hot tag trivia now, because I want to at least try to get somebody spicy for a little bit more commentary before we are at the end of the episode.
Okay.
Let's segue into that.
So I think right before we had started, we were saying that that you were going to ask me, I was going to ask Beef, Beef was going to ask Poot, and Poot was going to ask you. Is that how we were going to do it?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So let's start with Tom.
You know what? No. You know what? I want to hear Poot started off because
okay.
I want to hear Poot started off because I feel bad because it's the three of us have been overtaking him, and I feel like a dick. So go ahead, Poot.
Man, you're good. Listen. I talk for a living, so it's nice to.
Yeah, don't feel bad about that.
Yeah, don't feel bad. Yeah. All right. So Ransom, you ready?
No, be gentle.
Okay, I'm going to be gentle. Don't worry. There have been many illustrious titles in the WWE, from tag champions to intercontinental champions to the now infamous 24/7 champion. So there was another championship, though, that had a really illustrious lineage, starting all the way back in blank. That would be the WWE European Championship, okay? It was started, and I was going to have this be, but I'm going to have you... let's see. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think I'll do it this way. It was created on February 26, 1997. Beautiful time. Long, dumb lineage. Who was the first inaugural WWE European champion, and who did he defeat for extra bonus points?
Ooh.
I'm picking this up if you don't get it.
Listen, Captain Encyclopedia, calm down over there.
Oh dear. I don't think I'm gonna get who he defeated, but and I don't know a whole lot about the European Championship, but I have I'm pretty confident in my guess. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in my guess on who the first European champion was.
Okay.
And it'd be a toss-up for me between two people, but I don't think the one guy was in WWE at the time. I would say it would be a toss-up between William Regal or Steven Regal or whatever his name was and the British Bulldog, just because they're both from Europe.
Okay.
But I don't think that Stephen William, whatever his first name was, Regal, was in the WWE at the time. So I want to say it was the British Bulldog was the first champion.
Okay.
And if I have to hazard a guess at who he for that, I want to say it was somebody from like the Hart lineage. I want to say like Brett or what the hell is his first name? Jim Neidhart.
Okay.
But I'm not confident in that part of the answer.
Okay. So what's your answer for the primary question?
The primary, I want to say British Bulldog.
You are.
I don't know who he faced.
You are absolutely spot on. It was the British Bulldog, and in a tournament to crown the European Championship, I'll give you one of the bonus points because it was a member of the Hart dynasty. It was Owen Hart.
He was so close. I was sitting here biting my tongue.
Yeah, man.
I don't know why I didn't think Owen. Yeah, I couldn't remember, but I could have sworn it was like a Hart person. I don't know why I was thinking Brett or Jim. I don't know why. But
I was gonna say, I was like, if you let me give him a clue, I was gonna be like the one that should have lived.
Oh, damn it!
It should have been me. Oh. Anyway, all right, great job, Ransom. Very good, man.
Awesome,
Dude, I'm telling you
Alright,
what, Ransom knocks these out of the fucking park.
He's got some chops, man.
He got some real chops, yeah.
That last one of Poots, though, I can't remember what it was, but it was like three guys that I never heard of before.
Yeah, the fucking the Gold Dust Trio, yeah.
Oh, the Gold Dust Trio.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Yeah, no freaking clue on that one. Not even.
Know your roots, bitch.
Yeah, right.
All right.
all right. I'm ready for this.
So now it's me for Tom. Okay,
Yeah, spice him up good.
Tom, you called it. It's a Goldberg. It's a Goldberg. And as I am want to do, this is a. Hold on, where is it? Here we go. This is a multi-part.
He's gonna have to give a specific night on Nitro who he beat and how many counts it took to beat him. Go ahead.
Nope, this is a multi-parter though.
Okay.
They always are.
How many championships did Goldberg win in WCW?
Okay. Well, to be perfectly honest,
Are you talking reigns? Like how many total reigns he had, or how many total belts?
Yes, reigns.
Okay. Reigns. Okay.
Okay, championship reigns.
And this number surprised me, to be honest with you.
Okay, I gotta be honest. I want to say it was more than one because I feel like he won the belt back at some point. So I'm gonna say 2.
No, this is any belt.
Wait,
not the world title. Not the
Oh.
world title. This is all the belts they had.
Okay, well, fucking, how many titles did they have? I only think he only ever won the world title, to be honest. At least from what I remember.
Ransom.
But then again,
Give me a shot at this one.
You shut your mouth.
He's drooling over there. Calm down,
I am
Beef.
drooling.
Yeah.
All right, so Tom, what's your
Grab a Snickers.
Oh yeah.
You're not yourself. You're not yourself when you're not answering trivia. Grab a Snickers.
Huskins the
I'm
pig. Huskins the
I'm
pig.
diabetic,
You're not you.
bastards, you bastards.
Aw. Grab yourself a Snickers wrapper and sniff it.
Grab
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
Grab your snuff. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna say he only had 2 title reigns, regardless.
Okay, Beef.
I believe he had 3. I know for a fact he had the U.S. title. He beat Raven for that. And then he beat Hogan for the main belt, and he had both belts at the same time, and then he relinquished the U.S. title. And then I think Tom's right. I think he had a second. He may have even had a third, but I know for a fact he had a second world title reign. I don't know who he beat for the second world title reign, but I'm going to say 3.
No, you're also incorrect.
Okay.
Wow.
So he had 1 world title reign.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
He had 2 United States title reigns.
get the fuck out of here. For real?
Yep.
Wow.
And he had 1 tag team title reign.
Ew.
Bonus points. Who was he tag team champions with?
Who fucking cares? Because any team with Goldberg.
Probably fucking Hulk Hogan. Or Vince Russo.
Bret Hart.
Oh, fucking course.
That's kind of
Bret
ironic.
Hart. Now,
Wow.
also for a little bit of bonus points,
Okay.
how many WWE title belts did he hold?
I want to say just the Universal one. That was it because. Yeah, he didn't win a world title whenever he was in there back in the day, did he?
I believe he did. Because I think Triple H beat him. I think he had it for like a month, and then Triple H won it back.
Of course he
I
did.
don't
The
know.
golden shovel.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm just gonna say, despite the beef's probably right, I'm just gonna say 1.
Well, once again, stupid beef in his knowledge. He's
Okay.
a 1-time world heavyweight champion and a 1-time WWE Universal champion in WWE. And for icing on the cake, to spice Tom and Beef off a little bit more, he was the 5th WCW Triple Crown champion. Who cares?
Yeah, fuck him. He can't. When I saw that stupid promo. Now again, I didn't watch SmackDown, but I did catch a YouTube clip because it came up and just the promo that he cut on Undertaker or whatever on SmackDown. But he said, "Yeah, grab your jock strap. You're in for a ride." I'm like, "Fucking, you don't know what a ride is because you can't wrestle more than a 2-minute match. You piece of shit." Fuck.
He's gonna kill the Undertaker. He's gonna end the career of the Undertaker just like he ended the career of Bret Hart.
That's the only way he's gonna do it. Fucking asshole.
Oh, I love the spice. I love the salt.
I know you do. Just for you. Whatever makes you feel better. All right. Here we go. So my question for Beef is
Okay.
audio. It's an audio daily double. Ooh.
Ooh.
All right. So NXT proved that despite that not every single member of their faction won, the Undisputed Era is a faction to be reckoned with. So in that vein of factions, I want you to name this faction based off of their music that I'm going to start playing here, and hopefully you can hear it. If I have to, I will replay it for you, but here we go.
Shut up.
That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting.
Okay.
That's
well,
easy.
Thanks for talking over it, Pooh. Okay, so I have
I didn't.
two.
Not on the recording.
Do you need me to replay it?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
do
give
it.
it to me one more time.
Okay, hold on. Let me rewind it so I don't accidentally give you anything out of it. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Silence the other two in the PETA gallery.
Mírame los ojos cuando digas mi nombre. No me confrontes si no eres tu nombre.
I got this one.
Okay, so there are two that come to mind.
Well,
And
I'm
so-
only
okay,
getting
okay,
one,
so- All right, I understand. So this is a WWE or a WWF or WWE faction, right?
correct.
Okay. I think it's the Mexicals.
Final answer?
It's either Mexicals or Los Boricuas. That sounds way too new for Los Boricuas, so I'm gonna go Mexicals. Final answer.
You are wrong. It was Los Boricuas.
Yep.
Mhm.
Son of a bitch! Damn it!
Yeah.
As soon as he started playing that, I knew it was the Los Boricuas.
I knew
Well,
it was one of the two of them, but it sounded way too recent for Los Boricuas. Son of a
And you know
bitch.
what- And you know what the funny thing was is right before it was the one that I was playing for you guys to test it out. Whenever we first started was one of the greatest of all time, Ransom's
That's
favorite.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. It is.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's just.
Oh, Gilbert.
No, I had to play. I didn't want to go too long because one, I don't want to get us a copyright infringement, and two, well,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. So I know all about that.
Best wrestler ever.
All right, so Poot. We talked about Goldberg, so I'm going to talk about the other half of the epic showdown coming on Friday,
Okay.
which is the Undertaker.
Let's wait. Hold on. As you guys would say, let's not go making any bold statements that we can't take back, right?
So, the Undertaker is a force to be reckoned with, both backstage politically and in the ring, as seen by his character and the fact that he doesn't fucking lose ever. However, there was a time in 2010, excuse me, in 2010 where he lost 3 main event matches. Well, I can't say main event matches. Where he lost 3 big pay-per-view matches, all to the same person, who beat him all 3 times in 2010. It was the very end of 2010.
Oh my God, 20.
That was after the American Badass, correct?
That was, yes. I think that was Big. In fact, that was probably even a little bit after Big Evil, actually.
Okay.
That may have been that may have been like circa back to the Dead Man, or actually, I take it back. Nope, I can't give you any more clues. But if I say what I was about to say, it might give it out. But no, it was right around the changing of the guard, if you will. But yeah, for the Undertaker to lose 3 big pay-per-views in a row, it's a big deal. So
2010.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the time frame. Two people are jumping to mind. One of them is really stupid.
Which means that's probably right.
Well, there are 3. There are 3.
Sorry, if Boot doesn't get it, I want a shot at because I think I know.
There are 3 names that are coming to mind. One of them is really stupid, and that would be the Great Khali. The other one is Brock Lesnar or Bork Laser.
Oh, Bork Laser.
The other one is Edge.
None of the 3 are correct.
I wasn't. Thanks. Well, thank you for eliminating those. I wasn't guessing. I was trying to do what you do, where I list things. You do that. Shut your mouth, Beef. Shut your mouth.
Yeah. Good.
You dumb face.
Well, thank you for eliminating my guess. So yeah.
You know what? I honestly, this Beef keeps picking stuff from the time period when I was not watching wrestling.
That's a smart move.
Yeah, well, yeah, smart
He does
move.
it on purpose.
Yeah, I know he does.
Strategy, Cotton.
I know he does, and he's sitting there with his eyebrows peaked right now. That's what he's doing.
You fucking know it.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be him. See, you know what? This is a super. This is
dance it out, man.
This is a super obvious answer, and because I was trying to think of other stuff, you know what? I'm gonna go with John Cena.
It is not John Cena. Anybody else want to have a guess?
It's gotta be Kane.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Kane.
I'm gonna go with Tom on that.
Man, I was gonna go with Kane.
Gotta be Kane.
I was gonna go with Kane, but
it is September.
I was thinking the Buried Alive match where.
Yep, that's it exactly. September. Night of Champions, Hell in a Cell, Kane, and then bragging rights. Kane
I thought this was.
In the Buried Alive
I thought you meant this was after that. You meant
that's why I said I think that he pretty much put Big Evil in the ground here.
No, that's what I meant. I thought it was.
No. That was actually way before. So no, I think that this was like an actual the coat Undertaker with the hat and everything. Yeah. So because this was right before WrestleMania 27 when he faced Triple H. So.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and.
Yeah, watch that. My guess was gonna be my initial gut reaction was Kane, and then whenever Poot was saying he had 3 people in mind, my one guess was gonna be Edge because that was the big thing. Although I guess at that point Edge had already been defeated because that was 2008, 2009 or whatever WrestleMania that I was referencing with Flair Michaels. That was quote unquote the streak versus the title, and. And Undertaker had never beaten Edge until that point, I believe, in a singles match. So
we've kind of danced around it. Superstar Showdown.
Nope.
All hands on deck. Let's be realistic. All right. So we understand that this is a money grab, a cash grab, blood money from the Far East. Well, the not so Far East, the Middle East, to be quite.
It's going to be a glorified house show in the desert.
and as they all have been, and I've said that before. However, they are pushing it very hard to be the equivalent to, or the equivalent to, or better than WrestleMania. I mean, do we see any value in this at all? I mean,
No.
It's going to be the equivalent of eating my ass, is what it's going to be.
so
Wow.
there.
See,
Are we gonna get another?
reaction?
We gonna get
You
another
have that-
Titus World slide?
I hope so. There's one thing. There's one thing that piques my interest. So I think Triple H versus Randy Orton is going to be a good match.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit curious to see how Undertaker versus Goldberg goes, but honestly, Balor versus Andrade should be a really tight match. And being that it's the Demon, makes me actually want to watch it at least a little bit.
Mm.
So
They're putting the Damon in there just to do that exact thing, is to get people to watch it.
just to get
That's
people
about
watching, and it's going to work on this mark. But other than that, but to be fair, they are talking about perhaps having Natty versus Alexa Bliss, which would be a huge fucking deal to have two women wrestling in the Middle East. So
Well, wait.
we'll see.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought Bliss was getting a title shot against Bailey.
She is
When's that happening? Is that? Oh no, that's at Stomping Grounds or whatever it
stomping
is.
grounds, fucking bragging rights, stomping grounds. Who the fuck,
Cracking yeah, whatever. When
yeah,
is that?
dre-
When is that pay-per-view?
Probably July. I think. I would assume. Maybe it's June. Who fucking knows? Because fucking WWE. But I mean, honestly, so outside of all the political bullshit, is this event worth watching? In my estimation, I might watch it, but it's gonna be a tough watch.
It's going to be one of those where if I watch it, it's going to be, I'm going to fast forward through a whole bunch of it just to get to the ends of each match. And if
Yeah.
a match looks interesting as I'm fast forwarding through it, then I'll stop and go back and watch it. But it's not.
Right.
I'm not going to sit down and watch this entire event in its entirety. There's no way.
No, I can't. Like, if there's like highlight, like you said, if there's highlight moments, if there's stuff that's really like, okay, I feel like this is actually an important thing, I'll check it out. But I just, in good conscience, can't support what they're doing over there in Saudi Arabia. I just can't. And it's not, and a lot of people will scream immediately. Nowadays, people are so quick to do it where you scream racism and xenophobia and stuff like that. No, it's because it's
that's
not
not it at
right.
all.
It's not right.
Yeah.
It's just not
You're
right.
exactly right.
I'll tell you what. For me personally, I'm with Poot where I can't agree with I can't agree with how, if WWE wants to be this global influence and everything like that, and the whole anti-bullying and this and that, and they're so PC and they're so quick to make sure that they're not ruffling any feathers and they're being PG and everything. How the hell do you take blood money from the Saudis when there's been big headings and stuff going on? I'm trying not to get too political with it here, but WWE does not need the money from Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. They've got
You're right,
plenty
though.
of their own. You know
You're
what
right.
I mean?
You're 100% right.
And to further that, like you guys had brought up in a previous episode, Goldberg, who is supposed to be a supposedly very, very proud Jewish man and likes to be a positive influence on the Jewish community. He's going over there and performing in a country where they teach anti-Semitism. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like,
it's exactly like Beef said. Money
everybody's
talks.
got a price. Everybody's got a price.
Well, and here's the thing.
They threw
I
a big fat check in front of Goldberg and said, "Come wrestle this match in Saudi Arabia." And Goldberg went, "Look at all those zeros. Okie
Yeah.
dokie."
I can't talk out of both sides of my mouth here. I'm a huge NFL fan, and I think the NFL has let a lot of stupid, fucking dumb bullshit slide, and they've done a lot of stuff that really should get. So I can't support one organization that's doing a real, I mean, and I get that it's apples and oranges, but at the same time, it's not.
Well,
So
I agree. I see your point, and I agree with you in not talking out of both sides of your mouth. But I think there is a pretty huge difference between guys that are going out and beating their wives in elevators to beheading people. Like there's
That's
a
true.
bit of a difference, but
It's
I will
along the
say
same line, but you're right.
it is, yeah.
Big
But
difference. End
for
result is
me, yeah, for me, I won't. I'm not going to scramble to watch this. Number one, I'll be at work all day. Number two, there's only I don't even know the whole card, but there's literally only 2 matches that I even would remotely want to see, and that's going to be Balor Andrade and Triple H Orton. Because honestly, I could give a shit less about the 50-man Royal Rumble Battle Royal, whatever the fuck it is,
Don't care.
because who cares? Like there's gonna
It's
be 50
meaningless.
dudes, there's gonna be 50 dudes in the ring, and
Half
half of them are gonna have to get eliminated out anyways because you can't fucking move with more than 20 in there anyways. So let's just get that out of the way. And there's no women's matches on the card because it's fucking Saudi Arabia. Fuck
Well,
Maybe.
apparently, women are flying over there with them.
That's what I said. I said they're planning. They're hopeful. They're hopeful. And I mean, honestly,
We'll see.
I don't know that Natty and Alexa Bliss are the ones to do it, but I wonder if it's maybe not because they're completely fair-skinned, blonde hair. Like
Are they gonna have them? Are they gonna have them wrestle in fucking burqas?
Yeah, right.
We'll see. We'll see how quickly that changes once we
Exactly.
get there.
Well, I was gonna say we're good for getting last minute swerves from Vince anyways lately. No, there's literally only those 2 matches. I don't give a shit about no, I take that back. Maybe 2.5 matches. I kind of half care about Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin because only for the fact I want to know if Brock's going to actually cash in or not. However, hold that thought for a second. The Kofi Ziggler match, obviously this is a one and done. Kofi's going to go over Ziggler, and Ziggler's just a fill-in because Owens is not going over there, and he's getting punished for it anyways.
It could be a good match, though. Kofi Ziggler could be a good match. Low key, it could be a really good match.
It could be. I'll go back and watch it if I hear it was a really good match. I could give a shit less about the Undertaker Goldberg match because it's going to be a fucking snooze fest, and the Seth Rollins match I only care about because it's Seth Rollins, but not enough to watch it. Like not enough to scramble to watch it. I think if Lesnar cashes in, maybe he's going to swerve us and cash in on Kofi.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking.
I'll tell you this: the match that I probably will watch, and this is going to be a surprise, is going to be it's going to be the Undertaker Goldberg match because
Really?
I really want to see exactly how much of a trash fire that match is.
Right, exactly.
I really want to see it. I want to see how many high spots the Undertaker tries to get, and I want to see how well he comes out of that match.
Spear, jackhammer, Undertaker sits up, choke slam, a little bit of roughhousing, and then Oldberg spears him again for the pin. There you go. There's your match.
Yeah, I can't imagine it going very long, but I really want to see how much of a dumpster fire it's going to be.
But do you think that Vince is going to put a WCW guy over the stalwart of WWE? We saw it with Sting and Triple H at WrestleMania 31.
Oh, my God.
The only reason he will. The only reason it would possibly happen is if The Undertaker says Goldberg needs to go over. That's the only way. For me, I think that's the only way it happens, is if The Undertaker says Vince, Goldberg needs to go over. I want to do this.
And especially, like Tom mentioned, Goldberg's Jewish, and that's a very anti-Semitic culture over there. Yep. I have a lot of problem believing that Goldberg goes over. That's just me.
Not to confuse people, we're definitely not giving predictions for this because
obviously,
as you can tell, we don't give a shit about this.
Not at all.
We give about. I personally give as much shit about this event as Ransom gives about the listeners. So just saying. But
I care way more. I care way more about watching NXT and NXT UK tomorrow. So moving on from that trash fire show. Before I get to my letdown, this is kind of noteworthy, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of steering the conversation tonight. I just there's a lot to unpack for this week, so forgive me if I'm stepping on anybody's toes tonight.
You're good.
But
I feel.
This week we were announced that on August the 31st is going to be UK Takeover Cardiff. Awesome.
Yep.
I'm excited. Awesome. But August the 31st is also All Out in the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois, which, who lives in Chicago, Illinois that can't stand Vince McMahon?
Everyone.
So, yeah, that's about it, right? So, now obviously there are different time zones. You can watch one back to back, but I still think it's a little bit of a... Triple H claims that they had this date and this venue secured well before the other company announced their plans.
I believe
so
that.
If that's the case, I think this might be another kind of shot towards, shot across the bow from AEW. Also worth noting, by the way, is New Japan is in London as well. I don't think it's London, but in England that day as well. And they even put something on Twitter. It's like, oh, hey, having trouble, finding something to do if you can't get into like the big soccer match, feel free to come watch our show. Clearly, nudge nudge, wink wink. But that ought to be a very interesting day to be sure.
If the internet's speculation is to be believed, and again, it's the internet and it's speculation, so a grain of salt.
It has to be true. So it has to be true, right?
No, yeah.
Is it Facebook official yet?
If it's to be believed, Vince McMahon has been trying his damnedest to get Punk to sign some sort of contract, whether it's a full-time or whether it's like a Legends style or a Lesnar style, whatever. That's the rumor on the street, is that Vince has been really, really trying, and that he's gotten nowhere with it. And he's furious about it. And if Punk is still holding a grudge, which he seems like the kind of gentleman who probably would hold a grudge for a long, long time, there would be zero. I would be excited, but there would be zero shock to me if at that AEW pay-per-view Punk makes his debut. Whether or not he signs with AEW, or whether or not he's just, okay, I'm going to show up for a few shows, and that's how he negotiates his deal with AEW, I don't know.
Well, hell, what if
I'd
Punk
be
shows up
excited,
with,
but I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, I was gonna say, what about on the other hand? What if Punk shows up to New Japan?
That'd be huge.
I could maybe see that, but my money would be if he goes anyway. My money would be on AEW, just for the fact that they seem to be giving WWE a big scare, which I think Punk will get his rocks off on.
Yeah,
and that it's also going to be in Chicago, which would also get Punk's rocks off, being able to be like, hey, not only am I on AEW, but look at where I'm at on AEW in fucking Chicago.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
That does make sense.
That really sounds like something that Punk would just go, yes,
where
please.
he won that belt and ran away with it and threatened to leave and all that good stuff. So Punk, okay, give me percentages. I'm gonna say it is. I'm gonna say 40-60 that Punk shows up at All Out.
I'm gonna go 80-20. I really think he's going to. I'm gonna go 80-20 that he does show up.
I'm gonna play it middle of the road and say 50-50. I don't know.
So I'm as much of a Punk disciple as you're gonna find. I absolutely believe the guy can do no wrong. I hold no ill will for how he ended his WWE tenure, and I think he's in the right the whole time. No one would be happier to see him back in ring than me, but I think that reasonably it's probably 15-85. And that's on the high side, dude. He fucking hates professional wrestling now. He's burnt out, and like we said before, you can kind of see that. And it's if you watch his Twitter and if you watch how he reacts to people, if he's gonna come back, it's gonna be with AEW. Tony Khan wants to throw him all the money in the world, and Punk has made some has said, hey, they never came to me officially. If they go with him officially, it's a possibility, but I couldn't reasonably go over 25-75 of him showing up.
I mean, I think there's a good possibility that even if it's for a one-time thing, like even if he shows up in Chicago and does like a run-in, or a whatever, and that's all you see of him. I don't think he'd turn down that opportunity to kind of give a little stick in it to the WWE. Even if he doesn't wrestle a match, if he just shows up, gives somebody the GTS, and leaves, and you don't see him again, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, here's my question real quick. Was it ever confirmed or not whether that was him at that independent show?
I mean, you can put I'll dig it up.
Let's say that is it confirmed? Like, is it confirmed by him or denied by him entirely?
He's never said either way, but you can put two pictures together. There was a picture of him, in the supermarket, the same place, and you can put the picture, side by side, and point out, the tattoos here and here and here, and the facial structure here and here. It's him.
Okay.
Oh, it certainly is. But so I'm curious, Beef. There is so much going on that you could possibly have a legendary letdown with. Can we get a little bit of your legendary letdown?
So there's so much salt flowing that I can't be a lot salty about this. I'm just disappointed. I'm to the point where I'm disappointed in WWE. So AEW has made it a point to make
Ugh.
Wow.
Did you just like dump mud on a toddler?
That's our favorite rusty old chainsaw there. Old Rusty.
It's the Rusty Dragon.
The Rusty Dragon.
Red Dragon.
Rusty old saw full of green rust.
That was old Rusty's legendary letdown.
So I'm, when you hear from your parents or when you hear from your significant other, they say that I'm disappointed in you. It just absolutely tears you up. That's where I'm at with WWE and tag team wrestling. So AEW puts out two amazing tag team matches. NXT, for what it's worth, has done some really great tag team matches recently too. Where are the tag teams? You have the Usos, sure, because they're cousins of the cousin Joe, and then you have the Revival,
that's
because
Reigns, for those of you that aren't in the know.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, my bad. Cousin Joe, because he's The Rock's cousin Joe, and so you have the Usos, of course, because someone has to share the Samoan spotlight, and then you have the Revival because, of course, they're the foils. So thank God, at least they're on TV. I mean, it's shitty work, but hey, they're there. But you have teams who are tag team champions. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins haven't been on TV for like a month. They're your Raw tag team champions.
Are they still?
Yeah. Dee Bryant and Eric Rowan, who I think would be a great tag team together. Since losing to the Usos on the Money in the Bank pre-show, I don't think they've had a match on SmackDown. Dee Bryant was in the ring this week, but that's about it. And the fucking Viking Warriors, again, Vince snaps and says, "Hey, I need these guys up here." Here we are, fucking Here we are, fucking 8 weeks after WrestleMania, or not even fucking 6 weeks after WrestleMania.
And what about the women's tag team too?
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on the women's tag team division, because that's its own.
Don't get him started.
That's its own other fucking that's its own other fucking letdown. But just in general, man, like tag team wrestling has such potential because it's a great way to focus multiple talents, and you're blowing it on stupid fucking Roman Reigns angles, on stupid fucking contrived, let's make Sami Zayn eat a pin. Like, it's so just bourgeois. Like,
not to mention the fact that in tag team wrestling, you don't have to have those cooldown periods where you do in singles matches, because both guys have gone hard and they need that rest. They need that rest hold or whatever. You don't need that. You can tag out if one of the guys is getting tired. It can be nonstop action the whole match.
And you have guys who I think can go. Heavy Machinery, they're another one who they were really kind of priming up, and then poof, fucking disappear like a fart in the wind. It just, and this is all because of the fucking wild card. Because we're getting the same 7 or so talents every single night of Raw or SmackDown, that you don't have time to showcase the Apollo Crews. You don't have time to showcase the fucking Ember Moons, because you have the same people, and I just don't understand how that works. And so, but because of that, like tag team wrestling, RIP,
My God.
exactly, RIP tag team wrestling in WWE.
Well, that's a
Yeah,
pretty
well.
that's a pretty big letdown. But I think
Why don't you
Vince-
counter that, Poot, with the Swan Song? What
Exactly.
brightness do you see?
The brightness.
Show us the light. Show us the light at the end of the tunnel.
I certainly will. And
Save us, Poot. Save us.
Oh,
Hashtag save us, Poot.
oh yes, save us.
Hashtag
Poot.
not my champion.
Hashtag the light at the end of the tunnel is that belt shining on my shoulder, baby. The
Shit.
all right, so really
Make
the
sure
thing
the
is
tape holding that printed out picture on doesn't fall off.
oh don't worry. I have something planned. Don't you worry.
Still not my Still not my belt.
So anyway, the thing is, yeah, WWE is mishandling talent, but it's because they have an overabundance of talent, and you have a madman, not like Ransom over here, but you have a madman, an uninformed idiot who thinks he still knows everything at the helm. And yeah,
Well,
you might be thinking this sounds pretty negative, Poop, but here's the thing. With Triple H and
He's got to die sometime.
with wow. With Triple
Okay.
with Triple H and his little thiefdom that he has going on, and NXT and the amount of all right, with NXT, I'm glad Sousy McBurp over there is amusing himself.
South. The South.
All right, so no, with
let's kill
Triple
myself.
H, with Triple H and his thiefdom down there in NXT, and the talent clearly working hard to make NXT the show in WWE, whether it's on the network or on TV, they are the show. You have this, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, that this is right now, we're seeing in NXT the future of what the main roster will be, and the entirety of WWE's programming will be in the future. Okay. And also with AEW there, AEW is going to do great things, you know, and Moxley, even on the Pro Wrestling Podcast, he talked about people are worried about too many cooks in the kitchen. And he said they don't need to worry about that because the cooks in the kitchen don't, you know, dip their spoons in other people's sauces. They work together. It's like a set of line cooks, you know what I mean, at a major restaurant serving hundreds and thousands of people a week. Like, they're working together to make this happen because their product is already looking great and will, as it stands, deliver something great. This will push the WWE to be better. Not even just the WWE, but New Japan and the relationship that they clearly seem to have with AEW. It'll push Progress to be better. It'll push Ring of Honor to be better. We're seeing a real groundswell renaissance of what wrestling is. It has not been entertaining, really sports entertaining, aside from a few bright spots in WWE for a while. And now the landscape has shifted. There has been a big tectonic plate shift, and we are seeing that the future of it is bright. And this is so good. Competition breeds good programming and good results. And that's the thing, is that we have hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's coming. We're getting there. It's just going to take more time. And yeah, Vince McMahon dying. So
Well,
that's my swan song, is that there is hope. This isn't false hope. This is real, genuine hope for the future of the business and the product that we all love so much as fans. And even for the people who are in the industry, this is big.
It really is. It's something very revolutionary, and again, I like I mentioned on the last podcast, tried to I had to try to explain that to friends of mine and also to my girlfriend. Like, just because I happen to be talking about it, like I know she's not interested in wrestling in general sense, but she can tell that I'm passionate about certain things. You know, even if she's not a gamer, she knows how I'm passionate about gaming, and she indulges me with that. She asked how my streams go and stuff like this. Explaining to people who aren't wrestling fans, just how revolutionary this really is. It really is something amazing. And for the people that were fans at one point, you know, hopefully it'll get them back into it, because a lot of people said, "Oh, I used to watch it, but I stopped because of whatever." You know, it was more soap opera than anything, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, you're in for a treat, my friends, because fucking wrestling is back, baby. So, yeah, there's definitely is light at the end of the tunnel, Boot, for sure.
I mean, it's so great, and I can't wait to see where things go. Fellas, I think it's burrito time. Wrap this up.
Yeah. Nice.
I think, yeah. I mean, honestly, there's way more, because there's stuff going on with Roe, with fucking Bully Ray. There's stuff all over the place. But this is a great place to stop, because hey, that's always next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. So
keep the fans wanting more.
We have had more subscribers this week than we've had in a while. We've had more views this week. No, yeah, we have. We have.
Oh yeah, good. We're up 3 more.
Hey, you know what? I will take those 3 subscribers, because that means that they're getting notified of our new weekly podcast every single week. So for you 3, thank you. Tell your friends, tell your buddies, tell everybody you know. Let's get this shit rolling, because we're appreciative to have you. Okay.
I want by the time the next stupid P3 podcast rolls around, I want to have 4 YouTube subscribers. Drop those numbers.
Please don't do that. All
Drop
right.
them. That's my goal. Drive people away.
All right. Beef, you want to close this out since you started? Thank our sponsors and such?
Of course, yes. So we would be remiss if we didn't thank them one more time. Of course, our wonderful sponsors with the Casual Gaming Dad's Corner over on Facebook, with the impressive Tigerbomb Tom with his wealth of wrestling knowledge. Is also very awesome to watch play video games, especially the old school stuff. We all enjoy it, so give him a like, give him a follow, and catch some of his action, as well as WrestleDeals.com, your home for violent deals and bloody good prices. So honestly, I feel good about tonight's episode. I think we were all over the place, but I feel like we had a nice little.
As is our want.
But I think we had a nice little crux here, and so I think we're in a good place.
It was amazing, because we started. It was funny because last episode we ended laughing our asses off, and I actually ended up playing back the end of last week's episode for my girlfriend, and she was laughing her ass off at it. It was great. And I've gone back now. Even if I have like a couple minutes to kill or something like that, and I'm at work and my break's getting ready to end, I'll just go to the end of the podcast, like the last 10 minutes, and I love it. It puts a smile on my face. But yeah, it was all over the place, but we reeled it back in and got it back on track, and ended on a positive note with Poot's
swan
song. So,
and that is our goal every week, to keep the viewers happy, to put smiles on faces. So, hey, like I said, keep those likes coming. Keep those subscribes coming. Let people know. Check us out on Twitter. We have our handles all over the place. We're not going to repeat them tonight, but we have our handles all over the place on Facebook. Continue to interact with us on Facebook, and continue to listen for the Madman's ramblings, because they're always enjoyable. For Tigerbomb Tom, the hottest free agent in the sports entertainment podcasting business.
No. I'm gonna say I'm at the very least I'm in a part-time contract with y'all. I'm no longer a free agent. I'm part-time
contract.
He signed to a Legends contract.
I'm signed to a Legends contract. I'm signed to a sponsors contract. So yeah, Casual Gaming Dad, you'll be hearing back from me again.
Tigerberg Tom.
Tigerberg. Ooh, I like that. Tigerberg.
For the best Brock Lesnar this side of Brock Lesnar, and for your two-time Cruiserweight champion, and of course the rambling alcoholic man we have behind us, this is Beef the Legend saying, keep on keeping on.
$49.99, you idiots, you ungrateful bastards.